All right. Hello, Idiots on Parade, the Too Ugly for TV podcast. We mock the news so you don't have to. I am Nathan Timmel, stand-up comedian in Iowa City. With me, as always, is Jake Vevra, stand-up comedian in New York City. Hello, Jake.
How's it going?
All is well here, and joining us is Michael Husk. Husky. God damn it. I even wrote it down because I Husky with a C. Susky.
Yeah,
Husky. You say it,
we'll
Cuske.
pick Michael Cuske.
Cuske.
Yeah,
I got it right on the 10th try. Michael, stand-up
Bam.
comedian and podcaster in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, or as Alice Cooper says it, Milwaukee, something like that.
Thanks for being on the show, man.
thanks for having me, guys. It's gonna be fun.
All
Dude, it's
right.
funny you mentioned Alice Cooper. You know what I watched for the first time, which is fucking amazing. It's a hair metal doc that was made in
Oh, yeah,
1988
yeah.
called Western Civilization. Oh
Yeah.
my God, man. It is hilarious.
Oh, fucking, who's not Blackie Lawless? Chris, who's the guitar player for W.A.S.P? That's just fucking drunk.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Holmes. Chris
Yes,
Holmes.
Chris Holmes. Oh my God, dude. And I Googled him now. He's still alive. Granted,
That doesn't
he
make
looks
sense. He
like
should be dead.
he aged like you think a guy like that aged, but I mean, you'd think by 2024 he would have been dead for 30 years.
Yeah. All right. So last week we put out the podcast. We recorded it. We said we are recording a week in advance because I'm going to be in Tennessee on vacation with my family, just in case aliens invade. And then our podcast comes out and we're like, why aren't they talking about the alien invasion? It's the biggest news story. But fortunately, in the week we were off, not off, nothing happened. Nothing happened at all in the. Oh wait. Oh, wait, that old guy dropped out of the race, just like everybody said he should.
It
Oh
sucks, man.
boy,
I already had pre-filled out 13,000 mail order ballots for Biden. Now I got to switch that shit. You think George Soros is going to pay me to do it again for Kamala, that cheap fuck? He's only paying me the once for the two badges.
You get paid? He just makes me promises and then he kicks the can down the road. Michael, we actually
Well,
have had people comment whenever we talk politics. We insult everybody. We
yeah.
insult Trump, Biden. But if we insult Trump, we get people commenting saying that this podcast is sponsored by George Soros. I wish it was. I mean, but that two idiots that sit in their basement, that's Soros's plan to cheat the election, is to have two idiots sit in their basement and then with a guest, and
Well,
that's going to win the election.
that's how you win the election. Those like small niche markets. 60
yeah.
people at a crack.
Yes.
I think he's getting lazy. I think the deep state is ankle high at best these days.
I got to admit, I'm surprised. Not that Biden dropped out. That was a gimme. What I'm surprised by is Kamala was such a bad candidate in 2020, and she's been an unpopular vice president. Like nobody talks about her. Republicans slam her, but you never hear any liberal going, "Oh man, it should be Kamala." And the instant she got that endorsement, it's like everybody went fucking nuts. And they're like, "Oh my God, it's Kamala." Like, do you not remember not liking her? It's very odd how popular she seems to be all of a sudden when like the week before nobody cared, nobody liked her. Very strange.
They don't like her. They just don't like Trump. They got to pick something, and that's their
Right.
only option they got right now. I mean, Biden's out just means he's not going to be dead in 2 months.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
gave him COVID, or they're like, hey, you got two options. That's it. We're gonna give you a COVID pick.
I would actually
Yeah.
love it if they gave him COVID to keep him off the trail and that he didn't contract it naturally, because that would mean that they're at least trying, that they were at least nudging him, because all the public faces were, well, that's for him to decide. He's got to decide. So if they were actually slipping him some vid, that would make me happy.
I think they were putting bat in his food. I think they were chopping up bat wing and just throwing it in there. And they're like, all right, old man, you got COVID. You can take the COVID or you can take a trip to Dallas. I am the deep state. This is when you drop out.
I mean, Biden's at the point where you could send him to Dallas, but you could probably send him to Wisconsin. He wouldn't know the difference.
That's actually true. Well, he would know the difference. He might notice the difference between a humid heat and a dry heat. That's about it.
He'd forget real
It's,
quick, though.
it's true. I've been surprised that there hasn't been more of like a backlash to Harris on especially on the more like progressive wing of the party. Because my biggest fear with him dropping out is I was like, it's going to look like shit to the party to the voters, if they go, hey guys, I know we said we had an incumbent and you guys voted in the primary, but did you know he's like really old? We didn't know that. We didn't. So we had to it's a different guy. I know you guys voted, but he's old. We just realized he's old. So now we've put this person in. And I thought, especially the people who are like, really like, anti-Israel, I should say Netanyahu, but the Gaza protesters and stuff. I thought they would be like, "Oh my God, you didn't let us vote in the primary because you didn't want us to put somebody in who's going to do something about this," or people who are really concerned with economic stuff, housing prices. Like, hey, like whatever your deal is, to where you're more of like a Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, AOC type. You're going to look at this and be extremely suspicious. And I don't think you need to be like tinfoil hat crazy to be like, they put this person in because they know she'll do their bidding. And I don't get to vote on somebody who would have been a little more in line with what I'm about. But so far, there's not a whole lot of that, man.
Maybe a little bit, not a lot. It was a bullshit primary. If anybody should be pissed, they would be, because it was like they did shove him down everyone's throats. They didn't let anyone challenge him. It was like, nope, incumbent, we're going with him. Michael, thoughts?
And there was a guy, Dean Phillips, ran
Dean
on.
Phillips.
It's too old. Dean Phillips ran on. I like all his policies. He's got a good record. Unemployment super low. Stock market's doing great. But he's fucking super old, man. That was his whole platform, and people barely know his name.
I mean, he was the only one that, Trump's not a superhero, I shouldn't say that, but like, he scares them. Biden
right.
beat him once, however you guys want to say. I don't know where you guys are on the spectrum of this, but so they just viewed it like, all right, maybe he's the only one that can do it again. Then finally they realized, hey, he is one staircase away from being done.
Right.
I think it was Jon Stewart that said he's one light breeze away from being done.
He is. I mean, I think what the final straw was is when he's like, yeah, I'm a scratch golfer on our first debate. And we're like, all right, this is, I mean, both sides are like, what are we doing here for a debate? I mean, have you seen the new Trump golf video though? It did come out. He's actually a decent golfer.
Is that the one? I saw something where he was he missed a swing. That's the only one I saw.
He did a video with Bryson DeChambeau, and where they try and break 50. They're trying to go 23 under par. They went 22 under par together, and they were actually using his. I watched them. I got to see if they actually are decent golfers. Not for a 70-some-year-old man, not bad.
Well, I mean,
but then again, I'm like,
I hope so, because he plays every fucking day. That's what he does. He
golf is it's a sport for fat old guys, right?
Well, my favorite thing, Jake, the day after he got shot, Biden called the widow and Trump went golfing. It's like, holy shit, he will not. He better be a goddamn good golfer for as much as he does it.
Yeah, well, God wanted him to live and the firefighter to die, and God also wanted him to go golfing. So there we go. Yeah. He works in mysterious ways, that fucking Lord.
Speaking of the shooting, I do want to talk about this because I sent I sent links to articles we can talk about. One really jumped out at me that I want to, because I'm going to do two back to back. First, Taylor Swift stalker arrested at Germany show, also threatened Travis Kelce. Not to go to details, but holy shit, she's playing a stadium with 60,000 people, and they caught the guy. This is one guy on a roof with a couple thousand people, everybody pointing at him, and they couldn't catch him. And he was marked before how incompetent. The Secret Service needs to hire German or Taylor Swift security guards, because they got one guy out of 60,000 and they couldn't get one guy on a roof with people pointing at him. The Trump guards, the Secret
director
Service.
resigned. Yeah, I mean, the
director should have fucking been fired.
Bungle, man.
Biden should have fired her the next day.
In defense of the shooter, he was on a slanted roof, so it was pretty hard to see him.
Yeah,
that's true. But I don't know, it's not a crazy reason not to put somebody up there. When it's over 90 degrees, if I'm in the Secret Service and my boss gives me the option of sitting on top of a hot slanted roof at 92-degree weather or inside the air-conditioned building, I'd be like, hey, let's do the building. We should just get somebody to watch the back of the building. You know what I mean? Like that.
No.
it was a shitty. They didn't do a good job of securing the perimeter. Is what the fuck happened.
Well, and that was the next story that I wanted to bring up is the fact that after it happened, there were all these conspiracy theories. That's an inside job, and I said, it's human error. People are dumb. And so this whistleblower, it hasn't been big news. This guy comes out and says, yeah, it was too hot on the roof. Nobody wanted. And of course, that makes the most sense. That it's just the dumbest fucking explanation is that no one wanted to sit up there. And that's how it happened. More than any conspiracy theory, more than just, it's always dumb people doing dumb things.
Well, if it was a
let Michael
like,
talk. Michael looked like he was going to jump.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
It's human error. I think it's maybe a lack of training, but I'm pretty sure if you gave any one of us in this room or anyone I gave you a layout and I said, hey, the president's going to stand here. Where are the potential threats? Everyone would have picked every roof in probably a 2-mile radius because we have this conception of like snipers can shoot from a million miles away, so they're going to pick forever. So the ones that are 150 yards,
that movie Shooter with Marky Mark, and he could hit anything. So
exactly, everyone thinks everyone's Mark Wahlberg. So like, all right, we're going to definitely pick the roofs that are 150 yards out, or at least have someone at the base of it. It's ridiculous that they let a 20-year-old get up there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. I think it was one of those things where they clearly had so you do kind of like overlapping sort of sectors of fire when you're covering like a perimeter. You know what I mean? You'll be like whether you're doing towers on a base, whether whatever, you're overlapping. You know, picture like funnels kind of going out.
Let me interrupt for 1 second, just to give Michael. Jake, how many it was his former military? How many tours of Iraq and Afghanistan? Just give the backstory so people know.
What Afghanistan? Yeah, no, I was light infantry for 7 years, but like
so he has a little background.
The sectors of fire will overlap. Picture like cones, like funnels, and that's where that's where this guy's watching. Now, clearly, the sniper who had the guy in his sector got to him very quickly. The guy got off a few rounds. He was dead within seconds, you know,
and even with an obstructed view, they said that he just he just shot and got him.
You'll see the muzzle flashes. You know what I mean? Like he saw the muzzle flashes, trained right on him, and then boom, dead. But in terms of actually, now before that point, the guy would have been just sort of scanning the crowd, scanning anything in his field of view there, sort of in his sector that he's watching. But if that guy's behind the roof there and it slants up, he's going to just come up right when he's about to take the shot, and he's not going to spend a little. So it makes sense that the guy didn't see him. Like that makes perfect sense to me. The big fuck up isn't the guy whose sector he was in so much as it is the person who was in charge of setting the perimeters and assigning who's guarding where, because they should have had the perimeter guarded in terms of who's going here and there, who's watching the other side of that building. He never should have been able to up the side of that building.
That's my favorite part of it, because now all the finger pointing's taking place where the Secret Service is saying, well, that's outside our perimeter. We told the cops to do that. And the cops are saying, we told the Secret Service that there was a person of interest. Is like, that's where it gets fun. Is you're both right. That's what Michael said. And that you're saying is, it's a rooftop in direct eyesight. It should have been covered. There was a lot. Just humans fuck up a lot. It's amazing that this hasn't happened with every president at least once, that someone tried to get a shot off.
Well, yeah, just normally I think it was just right place, right time, because 99 out of 100 times I think they would have stopped that guy. And just because they have arrested people who've driven weapons to the White House, or crashed into the gate or done something weird. It's just most of the time the security measures put in place catch whoever's doing it, and in terms of the comparison between the whatever security catching the guy at the Taylor Swift concert, well, that was a known stalker, so they were on the lookout for that guy. This is just some fucking incel who, I think this is probably the least political attempted assassination ever, in that I don't think the kid was that into the politics of the whole thing as much as he was basically just a school shooter that had a little more ambition and was like, hey, I think presidential assassins get more pussy in the afterlife than guys who shoot up Walgreens. So I'm gonna get taken out. I'm gonna play the song Jeremy by Pearl Jam, and then I'm gonna shoot at the former president as opposed to like a classroom or whatever. And in that, in an odd way, I find it oddly commendable when you compare the two. Like, look, if you have, I'm not saying it's good to shoot at a former president or current president, anything. I'm just saying, if you do have demons in your head telling you to, either A, shoot up classroom, B, movie theater, C, a politician, A, I don't love that you had to do C, but if those are the three options on the table, if that's the only way to silence the demon, I'd rather have you die. I mean, look, Secret Service is going to be right there. Secret Service ain't in kindergarten classes. You know what I mean? So it's like, I want the school shooters to pick C every single time. And like both sides were trying to pin it on each other. Well, I think this is Trump's violent rhetoric, and he was a registered Republican. And then the right's going, oh, it's because everybody called him Hitler and all that. The kid didn't have a manifesto. Think about it. If you were going to kill a politician because of what they were going to do, or you'd post online somewhere, you put a note in your pocket, you'd shove it up your ass, something. This guy's Hitler signed shooter, like something. It would be there. There was none of that. I think he was just a crazy school shooter guy.
Yeah, good theory.
Kids, if you're watching, kids, Jake's saying shoot for the stars. Shoot for the stars.
Right. But not Taylor Swift. They'll catch you in Germany if you try that shit.
I was just gonna say,
get the death penalty.
You miss all the shots you don't take. So
that was his final words, actually. That was what was in his pocket. Up.
All right. What's another story we got? Oh, I thought this was hilarious. I thought this was just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Trump supporters say ear bandages are sign of love. Yes, we're a little late on this because it happened to everybody at the Republican convention. Trump supporters were putting bandages on their ears to show solidarity with Trump. And my first thought was, yeah, good for you, you fucking posers. If you really, was it Picasso took his ear off to show love for a woman? Well, you got to get some nail clippers and take a little chunk out of your ear. You gotta take a chunk out of your ear if you or was it Van Gogh? It was Van Gogh.
It was Van Gogh.
Van Gogh. God damn it. Either way, get fucked, posers. Get some nail clippers up there. Take a little snip out of your ear. Then you actually love your dear leader.
Did he even have the bandage on golfing the next day?
I think he did. Yeah, I think he did.
Okay.
I don't know.
But now the pictures are coming out and his ear looks fine. Like he of course he was exactly like, I lost so much blood. They blew my ear off. And now that the bandage is off, it's like, no.
Shit heals.
Well, whether it was a bullet or it was glass from that projector, whatever there's so many capillaries in like your head region, I'm sure we've all had little tiny cuts like by the hairline and shit. They bleed like a motherfucker. That's why when pro wrestlers blade themselves, when they'll have the little thing in the armband, they'll cut themselves. They're making tiny little cuts by the hairline because you don't need a big cut. And that's pretty much the same thing. It nicked his ear, but since it's in this region, it's all the little tiny capillaries. It bleeds like a goddamn fire hose.
Yeah, I'm not even care about that. I'm just saying that anybody that put on an ear bandage is a fucking poser. And if you really loved him, you would have done something. You would have taken a thumbtack and put it. You would have done something to damage yourself to show.
They would let their buddy with a BB gun shoot him in the ear if they really cared.
Right.
Yep. Jackass light.
Do it. Yeah. Do a 22, just pop yourself with a 22 and scream, make America great again. Bah, right as you do it. That's the move. Put that shit on TikTok. Put it on, dude, Elon will make that shit go viral if you put it on X. In fact, I should do that to plug the podcast.
Fuck you. Like, fuck you, don't call it X. I dead name Twitter every fucking time. Don't you dare call it X. Call it Twitter. You dead name the shit out of that stupid fucking upgrade that he gave it.
Elon paid 44 or 44 billion so he could identify it as X, and by God, I will respect that man's wishes.
Do we have any news stories about him this week? No, we don't.
Sure didn't do it to make money because that ain't happening. What's up?
We usually have an Elon Musk story, and I don't have any. All right, let's get
Uh,
off politics. Let's bounce around. This story made me laugh. I don't know if you guys have anything funny on it. I literally just sent it because I thought the overall it must be nice to be so rich that you can just do absurdly stupid shit. Brad Pitt's daughter, Shiloh, takes out a spot in LA newspaper announcing she's dropping dad's last name. Or you could just go in and sign some papers and do it. You don't, she fucking takes out a public ad saying, I'm removed. How big an asshole do you have to be? How much do you have to hate your dad to fucking advertise it? I mean, there's hate and then there's asshole. You can just do things quietly. You don't need attention for everything. That's why I found it amusing. Like, you're
It
bringing
would
the
have been
whole world into your family bullshit.
it would have been more successful if she didn't do that. If she's like, I don't want to be known for being Little Pitt, well, then just change it. But you're literally like, hey, I want you to know I was a Pitt. Now I'm not, but I'm
right.
still technically a Pitt. So please still give me the attention I had when I was a Pitt, but make sure you don't treat me as a Pitt.
Yeah.
I'm the
That's literally
symbol
it.
formerly known as Pet. That's crazy. But you see, the thing that gets me about it is she takes out the ad, uh, uh, but then won't say why she's dropping it. You know what I mean? Like there's like no details there.
Wasn't there? I mean, they say in the article just estranged, but they never said really like why she
No,
hates him
yeah,
or.
it says she doesn't get it. She didn't want to get into detail. I'd have to scroll down, but it said she didn't want to get into details. Why? And it's like, well, if you don't want to
Yeah.
get into details, what's the fucking ad for? You know, why are you making us fill in the blanks and make up my own version of Brad Pitt being this horribly abusive dad? But like it's almost like you're making me make up the story in my head and filling in the blanks that you're leaving as opposed to just saying he did the thing. That's why I don't think it was that bad, man. I think this is just petty family squabbles and
That's
shit.
what I think. I
I
think
mean,
it's petty too.
Oh, 100%.
And here's the other part is she's 18. Why is she acting like, and I hate to say the phrase, why is she acting like a boomer and taking out an ad that no one's going to see? Jump on TikTok. You're going to go viral. Hey, everybody, I'm Shiloh Jolie Pitt. But guess what? Not anymore. I'm dropping like, why an ad? It's a weird, Michael nailed it. It's like, I want attention, but and Jake said, I don't want to explain, but yeah, it's a strange fucking move. You have so many outlets to tell the world what you want to do, and you're going so old school that it makes no sense. There are much easier ways to get it out there.
I sort of get it. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think that the thing with being the kid of somebody that high in Hollywood is, I mean, you hear the term like Nepo baby all the time there. And that's because like being these people's kids will get you in the door. I'm not saying will necessarily keep you a star from now until forever, but it'll get you, meetings with producer, with casting, like whoever, it'll get you there. So she kind of wants to have that, but kind of doesn't like her dad either. So she just wants to let everybody know, hey, I know it doesn't say Pitt, but for casting purposes, I'm Pitt's little girl. You know what I mean?
But does she even need Pitt if she's got Jolie? Because Jolie is down the ladder, but it's still going to open doors.
Yeah, but not like it will if you got the two of them. And it also it gets the spotlight on her to where it's like, oh, he does have it. Oh, she is 18. Oh, we can put her in, but like it's sort of it lets people know like, hey, this is still his daughter.
Yeah, it's also a media stunt because how often were we talking about Shiloh Pitt before this?
Good
We're
point.
just the only thing she's done is change her name, and now she's like, "Hey, I'm here. Give me something." And but it literally is. It's a media stunt. She wants attention, and she's a teenager. We all did the same thing. We all rebel when we're teenagers. 4 years down the line, when something changes, she might be like, I want to be a Pitt again because you know what, the whole run away from home thing didn't work. So.
And I'm going to do what? Take out another ad saying I've reunited with my dad. And I'm going to get more movie roles out of that. More publicity.
Maybe her friend just started a newspaper company looking to support.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. It's
looking to support.
Not exactly nepotism. Like, it's just, synergy. It's the glad handling. Like, oh, you're starting a thing. I'll throw my my name on top of it with my little ad, my little attention seeking ad. Yeah, good.
Brad, Dad. Listen, I'm doing this to help Stacy. She started a newspaper. I still love you, and I'll still be there next weekend, and I still need money. I'm going to pretend to disown you to try to make this newspaper go viral. Is that okay? I still love you. I still love you. I think that's going on. Absolutely.
It is. Jake and I are both parents. We both have two kids, and there is a line in there that actually does
Allegedly.
sort of hit home, where it said that Pitt was blindsided and his greatest day of joy was when she was born because he wanted a daughter. I mean, that's got to sting. Even if you are Brad Pitt and like an A-list multimillionaire, to have your daughter come out and say fuck you publicly, it's got to hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a dad, but I can imagine. I mean, I got a cat. If it could talk and said I don't want to be there anymore, I'd be hurt. But yeah, I can
It
imagine it's got to
counts.
suck.
It
It
counts.
counts. Yeah.
I had one guy apologize to me because we were on tour. We were doing a comedy club, and my baby was new, and I'm like, oh, I miss my baby. He's like, oh, I miss my dog. And then he paused and went, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to try and relate it. I'm like, no, you have what you have. He had a dog, you missed it. I get it. You have a cat. Yeah, there are some people that judge you. It's not the same. You love what you love. You have what
Whatever
you
you
have.
care about, whether it's a human child, whether it's a dog, whether it's a cat, whether it's a man in a gimp suit who lives in a trunk underneath your thrift store. You know, if that's what you care about, then that's what you care about.
Unless you're Shiloh Pitt. All right.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved this next fucking story. Oh my God, this made me so happy. I even watched a good chunk of it. WNBA All-Star game. The team, the WNBA team defeats Team USA. So anybody that wasn't paying attention, the WNBA chose a bunch of star players to go play for the Olympics, and then before the Olympics, they took the players that hadn't been selected and they played the Olympic team, and the non-selected players won. It is like the underdog. It's David and Goliath. It's all the big celebrities got beaten by the little ones. And it just made me so happy that just like this little victory of all the people that were snubbed went in with, I have something to prove. And it was a fierce game. It wasn't like the Pro Bowl after the Super Bowl, or now they do it before. It wasn't like the Pro Bowl where it's just sort of like flag football and they're all having fun joking. No, they were playing hard because once the Olympians found out that the WNBA team had something to prove, it was great. And I just love that the underdog won.
Do you know what they
Yeah.
followed that article up with? They said, the Team USA has always gone on and medaled after losing to WNBA team as well. Because they've done
I
this
didn't see
before
that.
and they've lost
Really?
before. So they
Wow.
quickly spun it like, hey, this is a good thing. The people we selected to represent our country got their asses handed to them. We actually go on and win the gold medal because we lost at home.
Yeah, because they're
people who
gonna
are better.
they're gonna
Yeah,
be fired up now. Now
exactly.
the team USA is like, fuck, we got our ass handed to us. We have something to prove. So
They
actually,
spun that so quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I don't want to make it
move.
about Caitlin Clark because that's what everyone did, but she was on the WNBA team, not the Olympics. But everybody
That's what they get
focuses
for
on her.
snubbing Caitlin Clark. You know, go Hawks. That's what they get. They're gonna lose medals because of this. I see.
They should have done it. I mean, they have the best popular they've ever had, ever, because of her. And the rest of her class, to just let her keep that going into the Olympics, to have her win a gold medal potentially, and then bring that back. I mean, you're set for the next couple of years until we get bored with it again.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
whoever's doing their marketing fell. They dropped
They
off.
fell
They
short,
dropped that
big
ball.
time. Yeah.
Good goddamn point. Speaking of getting, this is sort of an odd segue. Speaking of getting what you deserve, I don't know if either of you followed what happened. The only reason I sent you this next story is because I had been sort of just seeing it in the news. And so now when it came around, I'm like, that's interesting. Producers of Rebel Wilson movie sue star over sexual harassment, embezzlement, and embezzlement claims. Rebel released a book where she fucking went hard after Sacha Baron Cohen saying, and everybody on set said, no, you're lying. She said, he made me do disgusting things. He made fun of me. And everybody on that movie set said, between takes, we would discuss, hey, are you okay with this? I want to do this. And that she was fine with it at the time. Now, who knows what, maybe she felt uncomfortable. But the whole point is, it's always those who seem to project the most where it comes back and bites him in the ass. So she's like, he is such a horrible person. He did this to, oops, now you're being charged with the same thing you are that you were complaining about, and I don't know why. It doesn't make me happy, but it's just like, maybe don't write tell-all books without reason, without like full merit. Did something really horrible happen to you, like happened with the Weinstein victims? No, you just were uncomfortable on a set. Then fucking deal with it. People go through uncomfortable things. You didn't like some of the jokes. Oh no.
Karma's a bitch. I think all these stories kind of have a theme. Everyone just wants attention, right? That's
Yeah.
why we do this stuff. Yeah, but it just seems like an attention grab again. Didn't Sasha Baron Cohen get divorced because of that book?
No, they said maybe. They said that was like the either timing and or straw that broke the camel's back. Like it had been building, 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 and it just sort of happened around the same time. Or maybe I think they may have separate. I didn't follow that too much. I think maybe they separated several months earlier, and then it became public where they filed papers around the time of the book. But yeah, it was
Yeah,
unique timing.
that stuff kind of interesting. Like how many of those marriages, divorces are just PR stunts, if any at all? I mean, I hope they're not, but if that's the case coming out for Baron Cohen, what was his wife's name? Isla Fisher.
Yeah.
Is that like a PR stunt then for her? It's like, hey, I gotta dump him, otherwise I look bad for sticking with this kind of person. Um, who knows? But what movie did she get
Uh,
these allegations for?
the
Because I
brothers Grimsby,
The-
I think it was called. I saw it. It wasn't. It was forgettable. That's why I don't really remember. It was him
I've
and
never even heard of it.
Mark Stone. Mark, I forget. But um, God, I had a thought, then I lost it when you were talking about sham weddings and
Well, I've been looking for the article because I read it earlier. I'm trying to pull it up now, but there was a part in there where it said that Rebel Wilson, and I may have read this wrong, but she claimed that the producers were sexually harassing a different actress, but then that actress denied it, right? Isn't that what happened?
I. She said that she felt uncomfortable with several of the jokes and or I don't want to say stunts, but they said, wouldn't it be funny if Sasha did this and she just sort of hemmed and hawed. And she said it was, yeah, not she didn't that it didn't make her feel comfortable and she felt pressure or something like that. Which I can see once you're on a set, if the producers are like, "Hey, well, this would be really funny. This would be really funny. You should do this." It goes either way. Sometimes actors and actresses say no, fuck you, and sometimes they get pressured. But it didn't seem like anything she was complaining about was that big a deal.
All of this seems very vague.
Yeah,
There's not a lot of specifics. I mean, we might not get them. They could be the worst things in the world, and then that's a terrible thing. But it also could just be, it didn't like the way the movie went. Maybe the movie didn't do so good. It's like, hey, we got again generate some more publicity. Let's pull another ad in the Brad Pitt newsletter, disown them, and then maybe we'll get some more publicity on this.
Well, then was Sacha Baron Cohen pretending to be Borat at the time? Because if he was, that's kind of Borat's thing, right?
he
I mean,
he
he's
was being
Yeah.
Borat adjacent. He was doing a weird. It's not nothing in her claim said like, oh, Sasha said I had to suck his dick to get the part, or Sasha between takes was grabbing my tits. It literally was. This is what he wanted to do in the film, and that made me uncomfortable. Which I think is a weird place to be because you're filming a comedy. He's going to do outrageous things. I think it would be 1,000 times worse if she were saying between takes he was harassing
well,
me,
right.
like this was. She
But
said,
if it's during the cameras going and whatever happened was followed with very nice, like that's kind of
right.
what that's what the gig is.
And his character was like that. It wasn't Borat, but it was another sort of like out. It might have been. I think it was the movie where didn't they copy this from Jim Carrey, the pet that he hid in an elephant's ass in this movie. I think it was Brothers Grimsby. So I mean, it's full of
I
scatological
never
humor.
saw
It's
this
full
movie.
of
And I love Sacha Baron Cohen. I've
yeah,
never
Yeah.
the Brothers Grimsby had Sacha Baron Cohen in it.
I think so. I'm not positive, but now I'm gonna Google.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it! If
Yeah.
I could type.
I like all of his character stuff, man. I like his sort of hidden camera shit where he's genuinely pretending to be this character to
Yeah.
people, politicians or people in public. He had a really good one called Who is America? and he did all new characters
Yeah,
like Ali.
I remember that.
Done. Fucking great.
It
man.
was brothers. It was the brothers Grimsby. They hid in an elephant's
Yep.
ass. It was Mark Strong. Yeah. So whatever she's complaining about, she didn't like what was being done for the movie, which I think is, as I've said twice already, a lot different from, hey, come into my trailer afterward and blow me, and I'll give you a bigger part. Those are two different things. And now, as we started this, it's the turnaround is she was doing it on her film, and so yeah, maybe just treat everybody decent. I don't know. All right, we are starting to run short of time, so let's just start pulling the plug. Jake can be found at Jake Vevra on all social media. You can also watch live every Thursday on YouTube, Twisted Cupid, where they pull romance questions, relationship questions from Reddit and answer them with a comedic twist. I can be found at nathantimmel.com. You go there and you find everything. I have a t-shirt store. I have a link to my YouTube special, which is an hour long. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Michael, where can people find you? Promote the hell out of yourself, everything you have to promote.
Yeah. You can find me, my personal stuff at Michael Cuske on everything. Our podcast is at Fat Chance Studios or Fat Chance Buddy, depending on which platform you're on. Quite frankly, I don't know which is which. It's getting a headache monitoring all of them, but just pick one of them. They'll show. Put in Fat Chance, it'll show up. We have a show coming up in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, September 13th. Nathan, you will be there as well with
live
us.
Show, live podcast.
Live show. Yep, live podcast. It's going to be more of a show than a podcast. We have planned. I'm excited. A lot of audience interaction. It's going to be a good time. And then we have a to be announced show at the Comedy Cabin again later in the fall. So looking forward to that. And then if anyone is, we'll shoot this one out there. We do a golf outing, charity outing every year. We're doing that August 24th here in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. So if anyone does listen in Wisconsin, they want to check that out. Feel free to shoot me a message. I'd love to have you come play.
We're going to get cut off. I lived in Oconomowoc. I graduated from Oconomowoc Senior High. I lived from 7th to 12th grade there. So we'll have to talk about that. I said
nice.
Milwaukee.
Thanks for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Rebel Wilson was the second shooter who really got Trump's ear.